Okay, hey everyone. So I was just feeling creative today and decided to make an origami tutorial video. This piece is inspired a lot by Joe Nakashima's Neko bookmark piece, but I modified his model to make a quote-unquote long dog bookmark. Joe Nakashima is actually a very popular origami tutorial and model creator, so I recommend checking out his channel. I'll put up a flag to his Neko bookmark tutorial right around here somewhere. But yeah, I actually just used this bookmark for... Oh, this video is far too zoomed in. Okay, then. I use this bookmark just for my daily planner stuff, but you can use it for whatever you want, like textbook or any recreational reading book you'd like. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get started. So today I'm just going to be using this purple paper. Let me move this off to the side. I also recommend using some kind of folding utensil because this model has quite a lot of folds. So the paper can get quite thick and the folds can be difficult to create. So I recommend using some kind of ID card or something, but since I don't have any kind of regular card without any information on it, I'm just going to be using this pencil or lead case. Okay, so what you want to do first is make a horizontal fold this way with the white side facing out. Then you're gonna unfold and make another horizontal crease this way. I'm pretty slow when it comes to folding because I make things as perfect as possible, so you'll probably be able to follow along in this video without having to pause it. But yeah, make sure that your creases are good. Okay, then you're gonna unfold that. Next step, you're going to, with the color side out this time, you're going to fold the paper diagonally, so you're making a triangle. Get that nice and as good as possible. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, try to use as thin as paper as possible. Like I said, the paper can get pretty thick in this model, so the thinner the paper the better, but it's not necessary to use super thin paper or anything. This is regular origami paper, which is I'm sure it's thinner than regular printer paper, but if you don't have origami paper and you only have printer paper or lined paper or something, you can use that as well. It'll be a bit more difficult, but if you use some kind of tool to get the creases nice and flat, then you'll be fine. So yeah, you're gonna do both diagonals with the color side out, and you're gonna unfold them. Okay, next step, with the color side facing up, you're going to fold the two side corners in like so. And get these nice and flat. Same as this one. So yeah, it's the two opposite sides. Let's see if I can get this pretty good. At this point, I'm not really using my folding tool as much because I'm confident that I can make it pretty flat with just my fingers, but sometimes you gotta use your whole arm and kind of like slide your whatever you're using along the fold to get it flat. So yeah. So once you have those folded to the center, you're gonna flip it over like this. Sorry, I kind of turned it around. It can get kind of confusing in origami when you start flipping the model and stuff, but I'm just flipping it over to the other side, and then we're gonna take this edge, these two edges, and we're gonna fold them to the center. So kind of like what we did on the other side with the corners, but now we're doing it with the edges. So just like this. And you want to get these as close to the center as possible. You might want to start using your tool here if you need to. If you're using printer paper, you will probably have to start using it like now, or using your tool now, because it's probably already getting pretty thick. But I think the deepest we go is like 3, maybe 4 folds on the same paper. So it does get pretty thick, but you should be okay. So yeah, you might have seen me adjusting this triangle on this side. You want to make sure, here, let me try to focus in on this here. Oh, wrong way. So on these, oh, it's still not in focus. Okay, there we go. Right here, you want to make sure that this is even all the way across. You don't want the triangle to be like popping up like this or whatever. You want these to be straight across as possible. So yeah. Okay, now with those folded, we're gonna flip it back over to this side, and we're gonna do the same thing again. We're gonna fold these edges into the center here. So just like this. And okay, this is important. Again, you don't want these triangles to be like slipping around when you're making this fold. So you want to get it as good as possible without having those little triangles popping out. So just like this. I recommend listening to music or something when you're making this. I'll probably add background music. You're probably actually listening to it right now, so never mind. I'm not live listening to any music, so I normally would be, but then that would get distracting. So we're just doing this to both sides. Make sure the triangles aren't slipping. As you can see, the bottom one kind of slipped out from underneath for me. You can kind of see it there. But yeah, try to leave that as small as possible. This doesn't really matter since it's going to be in like the underbelly of the little dog. So it doesn't matter too much, but try to get it as good as possible. Otherwise, it might end up being like really bad and then you won't be able to do anything about it later. So yeah. Okay, so now you should have this like cool looking spear thing. So the next step, we're gonna just choose one of the sides. It doesn't really matter. If you've been trying to keep up with how I'm flipping my paper around and everything, I'm sorry. But yeah, it doesn't matter at this point now. We're just gonna choose a side. So I'm gonna pick this one. This side we're gonna make the head. If I have any advice at this point, it would be to choose the, I would say the better side to be the head, because the head, it's gonna involve a lot more folding than the tail end. So you want the head to come out better than the tail, because the tail won't be as detailed. So choose the side that looks more symmetrical to be the head. So what we're gonna do, with the head point, we're gonna fold it down to the center line that you should have right here. Just gonna do it like this. And then up here, make sure the paper doesn't start to like do weird things inside here. Try to get that to be a nice flat fold. And then you're gonna crease it good. Use your tool if you need to. Make sure you don't rip the paper up in here though when you're using your tool. So just like that. Okay, and then we're gonna unfold that. And now this part can be a little tricky to see. Here, let me get out a pen or something so I can more easily point this out. We're gonna be taking this edge here and folding it to this crease that we just made. So I will do it and then do a little close-up so you can see what I did. We're making essentially a 45-degree line. So let's see here. So I just took the center edge and then folded it to the crease there, and we made this 45-degree line. Just like that. And we're going to do the same thing to the other edge. This can be a little tricky, because, yeah, don't let the paper slide out from under you. Control the paper with all your might. Oh, you didn't refocus it. There we go. I gotta start making more origami tutorials so I get used to it and can do more and show you some cool models. So now you should have this like cool looking chair thing, but what we're actually going to do is just flatten this. So there's kind of, the paper is going to fold along this line that's in between the two creases right here. So you'll make like a home plate looking thing, and make sure your center lines match up with each other. So just like this. If you've done it perfectly, then you shouldn't see any color. But if you do see color, don't worry that much because it'll be hidden later on. So just like that. Okay, next step, we're gonna flip it over. So like this. And then along this horizontal line here, we're just gonna fold it back. Just like this. So now we just have like a reverse version of what we had on the other side. And then next, you just fold down this top triangle. So there's like a horizontal line here. You're gonna fold it down along that. Like this. And again, make sure your center lines line up just to get it as nice as possible. Also make sure you're not folding it too far, so sometimes you can like do something like this and that's not good. You don't want to see any of this on top here. So just make sure it looks like this. And make this crease really good. Since this is the head, you don't want to, this is the part that's going to be popping up out of the notebook, so you're going to see it the most often and you don't want to be bothered by any imperfections or anything. So yeah, once you have that, next we are going to, let's see, oh yeah, so we're going to flip the dog back over, and now we're going, oh, I have a little unfortunate, I have some unfortunate folding happening here. This isn't too bad since it's on the back side of the model. Here, let me show you what I mean. This is going to happen, and this has happened on all the other ones I folded, so it's not like terrible or anything if this happens to you. But yeah, it might happen, but if it does, don't freak out or anything. So what we're gonna do now is fold the body in half this way, just like this, And then what you're gonna do, we have this little flap here. Here, I'll do a close up. So we're folding it in half, and as you can see, we have this little pocket that opens up right in here. And what you want to do is just flatten that down. We call this a squash fold in origami language, origami jargon. So you had this, and you're just opening this up and flattening the paper there. And then you're just gonna fold it back over on top and make sure that you keep that fold in there, just like that. Okay, and then we're just going to do the same exact thing on the other side. So fold it over and then flatten it. This is where that unfortunate folding can get in the way a little bit, but don't worry about it too much. Just do the best you can with this. It's all going to be in the back anyway, so it doesn't matter that much. So yeah, once you have that, you're gonna just flip it back over, make sure the crease stays inside there, and there you go. So now we're gonna flip this back over. Okay, this next step is like the trickiest part, so let me see if I can get a good zoom in here. Oh, maybe I should just do this instead of like refocus. Ah, there we go. I think that's better. So what you're gonna do is, so here, I would recommend making all these folds, like just reinforce them with your folding tool, because this next step will be much easier, or it'll be no, that's the wrong wording. The more reinforced you make these folds, the easier the next step will be. So yeah, so what we're gonna do, we have our little dog. What you're doing is taking this back flap and just kind of let everything undo itself up here. So just pop this open like that. Oh, this wasn't even in frame the whole time. Let me do it again. So you're just opening this up like this. So it's kind of hard to look at the camera and do the step at the same time, but so I'll do it again. You're letting everything just kind of unfold here. Just pop it up open like that. And what you're gonna do is fold your flap that you created in like one of the beginning steps. You're just folding this over so that it reverses. This is called a reverse fold in in origami jargon. But yeah, it's simple as that. We're just flipping it. We're just reversing that fold, so it looks like this. And now what you want to do is, so you see this little diamond happening in here. This, yeah, let me see. So we have this like diamond shape here. You want this center line to be pointing like at you. So let me try to like get good angles so you can tell what's happening here. You want that to be pointing at you, and then you want this one here to be pointing away. So this, when it's coming at you, we call that a mountain fold, and when it's going down, we call that a valley fold. So we want this diagonal here to be valley, so you can just kind of like pinch this edge here, and this one will be mountain. And then you just close this up, pinch it closed, and then just fold the dog's face back over. So we just reversed this whole side of the body, just like that. We're gonna do the same thing to the other side. So I'll show it again. You just let everything pop open back here, and then reverse the whole body. See if I can get this. Oops, that came undone. Put it back. There we go. So we're just reversing this. I should have reinforced the body folds as well. That would have made this easier too, but I forgot. But we're still good. And then, so we have this center line here, which is mountain. It's coming out at us. So, this one right here. And then we want this one in here to be valley, just like that. And then we can pinch this closed, like this. And then we just close it back up, like that. Ta-da! Okay, so now that we have all that settled, make sure you reinforce those folds really well. Use your folding tool to really get them nice and flat, just like that. Oh, and you should probably do the same for the body, which I neglected to do earlier. Just like that. And there you go. So that was probably the most difficult part of this model. So congratulations if you were able to do it. Okay, so next step, so you see these little like flappy things. I tried to make arms out of them, but nothing really worked. So we're just gonna go ahead and lift them up and then fold them into the body, just like that. Just go ahead and hide them inside. Okay, just like that. Okay, now we're going to make the head of the dog. So you just want to fold these ear parts down. We're making the ears. So this doesn't really matter how far you fold them. It just kind of depends how like wide or narrow you want the dog's face to be. Is this even focused? Oh, that's the wrong one. There we go. That's more focused. But yeah, you just want this to be as wide as you want the dog's face to be. I don't recommend making them meet at the center here, or else your dog's head will just look like a diamond, and I don't know any dog that has a diamond head. So it'll look a bit more realistic if you leave some gap in the center here between your two folds. And then what we're gonna do, see, this is an imperfection here. There's not supposed to be any white on this side, but you can kind of fix that in a way. If you did it really well, then you shouldn't see any white there. But doing it on camera is a bit more difficult, so that's my excuse. But anyway, now we're gonna make the snout of the dog. So you're just gonna fold up the top corner here, like this. Like so. And then you're gonna fold down the top triangle. I don't recommend folding this down all the way to the bottom of the previous triangle that you folded up, because then it won't look quite, oh, this is totally crooked. Well, here, let's see if I can fix it. There we go. That's a bit better. It's still crooked, but yeah, I don't recommend folding it all the way back down, because then you won't be able to draw the little like cleft thing that animals have for mouths. But yeah. At this point, I recommend making the face. So you can make the face look like this one that I have here. Let me see. If you like this design, you can do this. I put like 2 dots and then some eyelashes, and then just put the little nose there and the mouth. But you can do whatever you want. You can leave it faceless. You can try to recreate your own dog's face. You're a real artist if you can do that on here. But yeah, anyways, we're gonna do another step later that'll make it much more difficult to design it, because it'll make the face pop up more. So I recommend designing the face now if you want to make a face. But yeah, so now we're gonna move on to the next step. What we're gonna do is fold these edges down here up to the center line. So just like this. This can get a little more difficult if you have smaller paper. It's probably easier if you have larger paper. So what you're doing is just like this. You see? Like that. And we're gonna do it to the other side as well. I have to get an auto-focusing camera so I don't have to like keep adjusting it. But so just doing it like this. Ooh, this is terrible. I didn't get it at the very center at the bottom. Try to get it as close to the center as possible because this is the tail. So this is the tail's point, and that's like a main feature of the dog. You don't want it to be uneven. Okay, so the next step, we're gonna be doing what's called a swivel fold. So what you're gonna do, here, let me zoom in. Whoa. Okay, that's good. So with these points, you're just gonna hold one of them down, and then on the side that you're holding it down, just gonna pop the paper up like this, and then along the crease that we made underneath here, you want to keep that creased like this, and just push the other paper on top of that crease like this to create a little paw. Ta-da! Now we're going to do it to the other side. So just hold the paper down and then pop it up, and then make sure that crease stays down, and then fold the paper on top of it. So yeah, that's a swivel fold. Swivel. Wow, my dog's legs are super uneven. This is like the worst thing I've ever made. It's hard to do on camera, but that's okay. So now what we're gonna do, this next part is a little tricky, but just bear with me. You're gonna flip your dog over. So let me zoom in. And okay, so the goal here is we're making the tail kind of look more realistic. So you're gonna pull the tail up. The two legs you're gonna see kind of like are being pulled up by the tail. So don't rip the paper, only fold up the tail as far as it goes until it like starts pulling up the legs, and then fold it up to there and make a good crease, and then you're gonna fold the tail back down. How far you fold it down depends on how long you want the tail. So if you want a longer tail, fold it down pretty far like me. If you want a shorter tail, you can leave it like up here. Okay, my camera just like cut me off, but yeah, if you want a shorter tail, you can only fold it to there if you want, but I'm gonna leave it down here. Make sure these creases are really good because it'll make the next step easier if you fold them very well. Okay, so now that you have that, we're gonna flip the dog back over, and what we're gonna do is just open the whole dog up. So, or here, it'll make it easier if you unfold what you just folded. That's actually called a crimp fold. When you fold it up and then back down, that's called crimping. So you're gonna unfold that, then you're gonna open up the dog, and then you're gonna see all the creases that you made. So these ones that kind of form a diamond on the bottom here, those are the creases that you made with the crimp fold. You want to fold, so the outer ones, yeah, let me see if I can, wow. So these outer ones here, instead of the inner ones here, you want to fold the outer one, you're going to fold it up. You're kind of recreating the crimp that you made. So you want to fold it up, And then along the inner one that you see on the bottom now, you're gonna fold that back down. This is called an inside reverse crimp fold. So we created the crimp and now we're inverting it, and it's on the inside of the model. So inverse or inside reverse crimp fold. So this is what it'll look like. You just want to close the dog back up once you get this correct. Let me see here. Sometimes this is hard, but again, the better you made the creases in the previous step, the easier this will be. So let me see. Falling apart. Okay, there we go. Now it should all pretty much come together. This dog's legs don't want to cooperate. Come on, doggy legs. Do your thing. Okay, there we go. Get up in there. Okay. Wow. Okay, so my dog's legs are like super uneven, but that's okay, I guess. Wait, does this even look... Yeah, I think this is the correct one, but that's okay. So once you have your little tail underneath here... Whoa, that was a little weird. All its insides were coming out. But yeah, once you have that, you're almost done. So next, final step, we're gonna come to the side of the head here, and then we're gonna fold this edge here down to the center line here. So we're basically bisecting this angle. People don't like when I used math terminology in Origami Club, but whatever. I like to use the word bisector because, I don't know, it just makes things like more clear, like you're literally bisecting the angle, but whatever. So yeah, you're doing that, and then you can kind of just fold the dog's face back down, and we're gonna do the same thing to the other side. This is hard to do when it's not on the table. And then fold the dog's face back down, and there you go. Oh. Okay, there. There you go. So now you have your dog bookmark, yay! So yeah, as I said, you can use this for any kind of book you want. I hope you somewhat enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you find a use for a dog bookmark, but if you don't, they're fun to just have around and like put in like a pencil jar or whatever you have like laying around, or you can post them on like a poster board or something. But yeah, they're cute and fun. So I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching. Bye!